Hey, it's Kim McKay. We just got episode 19 of Vikings, and it was really awesome. So for this review, we're going to go through episode 18 and 19, because episode 18 had a lot of stuff I didn't really want to talk about at all, because it was really boring and not really something I cared about, e.g. the wedding scene and stuff like that. So we're going to cover all the important parts in episode 18 that leads on to episode 19, and cover one big, nice review, so we can see what's going to happen for episode 20 and the rest of Vikings. Okay, so we finally get some real knowledge about King Finehairs and his past, and what led him to have this huge drive in his life to become king of all of Norway. Now, throughout the show, we've had very clear hints from this side to this side that the Finehairs brothers were no trouble, they had deep desires, and they were terrible people. Even by the standards of Vikings, they were quite brutal, harsh, and very bloodlusty. So clearly getting rejected by the love of his life, the person that drives his entire ambition to become very powerful and this king, to get married to someone else, not even tell him, not care about him, not love him, feel betrayed, was definitely a big hit to him. And we see that play out into episode 19 as he lashes out and kills the husband. This also makes him double down with his brother on his plans to take over Kattegat and overthrow the Lothbroks. Now, it was quite smart of them to work with an outside force who is very smart and cunning while they're away in England to attack this and do this, because one, all the Lothbrok armies would be away revenging their father, and it also meant that they were disinvolved from it and they could really claim no real problem to it and couldn't get caught out in any way, shape or form. Oh yeah. So of course their plan fails, Lagertha survives in episode 19, and that's all kind of wrapped up on that part of the storyline, their attack on Kattegat while they're away. We still have the closure, what's going to happen in England, what's going to happen when they arrive back, if they arrive back, and how that's all going to play out. You guys can tell me in the comment section below what you think will happen with Lagertha when they arrive back, and how she will confront this new issue. So let's go to Kattegat now. So we start off with this huge scene of all the people gathering around and doing their sacrifice before the battle heads out to England, which is very important to their culture. And the way that they do it is absolutely incredible, apart from the shitty acting of that random person they brought in that's good for sports or whatever. Other than that, it was a really good scene. One thing I had to give big props to was the costume design and the way that they had Lagertha enter in for the sacrifice. She looked so much like a witch doctor, it was scary as fuck. Especially with the owl on her shoulder that flies off as she walks towards the guy that knows he's better die. Whew. So that was pretty cool, but one thing definitely no one really enjoyed that much was Astrid and that weird sex thing with Bjorn. All it really did was serve the purpose to show that when Tordi died later on this episode, that with Bjorn's reaction to it won't be that negative. He'll be like, oh, that's sad, maybe do a burial for it, but he'll move on pretty quickly because he was detached from that relationship quite a lot. But episode 19 is really where Kattegat starts to flush out, and we get this cool ass battle scene with Lagertha and Astrid and stuff being boss ass fighters, and of course the reveal that the Finehairs were the people involved with this entire attack. Now, the only disappointing part about this entire fight was that I thought there was something very unique and a few extra cool things that this bastard son did to really improve his invasion, but all it did was bring some planks. Now, I will give it to him that he put insurgents in there, but they just got found out and died, but that's only still two things really, and it wasn't really anything that anyone needed to be smart to figure out. Also, one thing we did find out is that they have absolutely no scouting, no protection by the water or the docks. Like, most Vikings have ships, and that's how they travel, that's how they raid. You'd think if they were going to protect a village or a trading port, they would have some kind of sea defenses, or at least scouting ahead, watchtowers, anything. No. People just rock up with their boats and dock without anyone noticing. But I did quite like the way that Lagertha stood up to him and was kind of boss ass. She knew that he was coming, so she was prepared. She had traps in place and everything she needed to do. Even though it seemed like, them invading from the inside was like an offhand thing that she'd only saw with a glimpse of her looking from that thing, they seem pretty prepared for it, so I understand that little reveal there. Now, I do really like that this brought back that entire feeling of infighting between the Vikings, and how that was a huge problem people had to deal with a lot. And really, Lagertha's involved with that scene quite a lot as well. She's exerted this power for her Earl, she exerted powers from Kattegat, so she's really using that ladder as well, so you can't really say she hates it. So again, this episode really just has the main question of what she's going to do when the Finehairs arrive back. Now, when we look at England and Wessex and the kind of characters like Adelwulf and King Egbert, we have a very strong development of Adelwulf's character along with the relationship he has with Alfred and his other son. Now, they definitely build up this entire episode showing that Alfred is the real beacon of hope and rally for England and their morale and their chances of winning. So when he breaks, which I expect he'll break at the episode 20 start when they resume the battle, it will really be a blow to the morale and the hopes of Wessex and all of England. Also, the way that they made Ivar outwit and manipulate him shows that this person who was put up as a beacon of rational thought and understanding that they probably shouldn't send back the sons like that, as someone who is smart and can lead, getting outwitted by Ivar really shows how very intelligent he is. So I expect a lot of really awesome stuff to come out of next episode with King Lothbrok's character, and as he kind of breaks down with his lost dreams and hopes of his empire rising up, and he probably has a last resort of throwing his hopes and dreams into Alfred. Now, another really interesting thing we got in episode 19 was more development on Floki's really weird relationship with Helga and that daughter they brought in, and it's just getting more and more hyped up as she's really afraid and just getting more and more controlling and weird. That's definitely going to have to reach some kind of climax next episode, and I can see it being very poorly. If you watch my preview, I talked about how Floki may die in it because he said farewell, and there's like foreshadowing for that. But I watched a more extended version of that preview, and it says farewell Voyager, so it could be that Floki leaves to go to Iceland or do his own thing after they win a battle of Wessex and stuff like that. Now, I know there was a leaked Russian episode, so there's a lot of people trying to throw spoilers down, so if you don't want to hear anything about that, then I recommend not clicking spoiler tags in the comment section below. Just so you know, a spoiler tag, you put spoiler at the top, you do like 5 lines of spaces, and then you could say it, so that people have to click read more to see anything, so make sure you do that when discussing this stuff, or I'll have to delete your comments. Okay, so in episode 18, we get the beginning of the bickering between the sons of Ragnar. So here we get that callback to the tradition they do of like spitting on their bow and sharing the war and washing their faces and blowing out their nose, all that gruesome stuff. And they share it around the group with them with the sons of Ragnar, showing their kind of physical bond as they're about to go on this journey. And they also have Ivar talking about how he wants to lead, how he felt like he was chosen by his father, and his father took him to England so he could lead the Viking forces. But of course, Bjorn wants control of this. He wants to make sure he can revenge his father quick, and is under his command because he feels he's more experienced and is the oldest and should be the representative there. Now, of course, making a age-related hierarchy would put Uber in a good position, so he's okay with it. Plus, he respects Bjorn as a warrior, and Hickstead definitely respects him as a warrior because he raided with him and knows what he's capable of. So to ensure that no one else can take command of this raid, they side behind Bjorn, and he's the first one to take them in against the armies of Northumbria. So as we know, this episode we got a really disappointing battle where it was all built up. They even had this promo saying, "This is the battle we've been waiting for," and it ended up to be nothing at all. And one thing that the issue guy pointed out was that really sloppy cut right after the battle that made it feel quite jarring and out of place. But saying that, I really did enjoy the end of this episode where they finished off Ayla, they blood-eagled him, hanged him up, and it was a very, very strong way to show how powerful this moment was for the Viking forces and their impact in the land, showing the severity of what they're going to do next. So really, episode 18 showed how Bjorn could lead, how they can fight, and that they're bringing a huge army and not some small petty raiding force. And episode 19 was more about Ivar and his role as he takes more leadership and giving out ideas and how he will fight to be able to destroy the Wessex forces. And I have to say, that was the highlight of the entire episode. It was so funny to watch the Wessex forces just run back with the forces as they come out from each side of them. They just slowly walk away, and it's like, what are they doing? Why are they walking away? These like great heathens, and just walk away from battle. Then we have a tiny skirmish, another tiny skirmish, a little bit more, and then finally we get to the main point when the shield wall forms. They're in a trap heading for the boats, and they move forward. The fight's about to start. They start charging, and the episode ends.